During job interviews, there was always one most important question that would arise. How much would you like to earn? How do you think I answered this question? At least twice as much as you plan to pay me for a month of work. Of course, the prospective employer was shocked. How could I give such an answer? But was he right, or was I? Who was actually truly right in this situation? I'll tell you, the undeniable truth is present on both sides. Why is this the case? First of all, the employer always aims to pay the employee as little as absolutely possible, while the employee, conversely, wants as much compensation as possible for themselves. So what is this all actually really about? First of all, it depends on whether you want to have the best possible team made up of top professionals with years of experience and commitment to your work, and at the same time, you want to pay as little as possible. But now, I urge you to really try to think deeply from the employee's perspective. How exactly does the employee truly think? If your current employee or a potential future employee has diligently put a significant amount of effort into their education and valuable experience, has worked incredibly hard to learn absolutely everything in order to perform their job as exceptionally well as possible, then please think about it carefully. Will they genuinely want to earn as little as possible or as much as possible considering all their dedication and hard work? You've surely heard a real-life story like this before. A highly skilled specialist was urgently called to a large malfunctioning ship, and for a single precise hammer strike, he subsequently charged an astonishing 50,000 euros. When asked why he wanted so much money for just one single minute of work, why he issued such an incredibly huge invoice for 50,000 euros, he calmly replied, "Yes, it only took 1 minute, but what people often forget is that I first had to precisely know exactly where to strike. And I knew this, but it took me 20 years of learning and experience so that I could confidently come to that ship, make a single strike, and the ship would immediately start working." That's why no one truly sees how much dedicated effort someone has genuinely put into gaining education, professional experience, and knowing where, what, and how to fix so that everything works properly. And now think about your sports car, boss, the one you have parked in your garage. Remember when you went to the dealership and asked what the price of that car was? Of course, you got a definitive answer, let's say a substantial 100,000 euros, but the experienced salesperson, not the employer, the very helpful salesperson, then asked you what specific features and additional options you would truly like to have included in that particular car. Of course, you absolutely thought about wanting the car to have all the incredible and advanced features available on the market, but then, when the employer told you, not the employer, but rather the experienced salesperson, that suddenly the car's price went from a mere 100,000 euros to a staggering 500,000, at that precise moment, you opened your eyes incredibly wide and exclaimed, "How on earth can it be 500,000? Yes, of course, we can absolutely sell it to you for $100,000, but without all those extra advanced features." It's precisely the same situation if your dedicated employee possesses additional valuable skills and is readily prepared to take on numerous extra tasks, has exceptional additional abilities, and you still persistently want to pay them as little as humanly possible. They might even get deeply offended and ultimately walk right out of the job interview. Now, please take a moment to think about your own company. Imagine, if you will, that you genuinely want to sell me your premium product and I in turn wish to pay you precisely the very same price it cost a full 20 years ago. You'd probably burst out laughing, wouldn't you? Why, you might ask? Because first and foremost, there's the undeniable reality of inflation. Secondly, this particular product is worth much more now, primarily because the significant costs of producing precisely what you sell have indeed risen quite dramatically in recent years, and besides, you're also highly competitive in the market and your product is truly quite unique. So you would understandably say to me, if you genuinely don't want my exceptional product, you can certainly go to my competition. Just please don't come back to me crying. And it's quite similar when you hire an employee. Of course, you can certainly pay them the absolute lowest national average, but only if they truly don't really know how to do anything at all. However, if they are a well-qualified employee and you see that they have many diplomas, have put in a lot of effort, and have sacrificed relationships with their own family just to pursue an education, then think about how much effort and how many broken interpersonal relationships it costs this person just to be the best in their field. That's why the best in their field also expect appropriate compensation. Does that mean they should be earning millions? Absolutely not. But also, you should truly think of your new employee as your very best friend. If your most valued employee were truly starving, you certainly wouldn't feel comfortable with that situation at all. If you consistently try to give your employee a truly starvation wage at all costs, they will inevitably look for another, more fulfilling job, even if they initially accept the position with you, because they inherently know that you have given them a starvation wage. And that's not what this is about. It's about the principle that everyone should win, you, the employee, and ultimately the client. Think about the fact that it's better to keep an employee, like one company I worked for used to do. I can certainly tell you about it today. This particular company produced yachts, and this company consistently had a policy of giving raises every single year, and that indeed was standard practice. And the company explained why they gave raises. Because the true and comprehensive cost of bringing on a new employee is actually more than double the standard hourly rate, as I thoroughly explained to you in the previous video presentation. And today I'd like to tell you that it's better to give a raise, for example 100 euros, than to hire a new employee and pay them 3,000 euros. Because the experienced employee you hired many years ago, for example, will do the job faster and more effectively than a brand new hire would. So it's generally much better to keep your existing employees than to have a significant amount of turnover. And how much compensation should you initially give an employee at the start? Above all, you need to honestly assess their value. You need to look at how much education they have, how much effort they've put in over the years, how skilled they are, what they know, and how much money they will be able to generate for you. Because if they earn, you will earn together with them, and that I can guarantee you. Because I know that if this employee is educated, committed, and enjoys their work, they will bring you profits every month, which is worth rewarding appropriately. Thank you for your attention. I wish for you to hire the best professionals possible. And finally, I ask you, do not be stingy. Don't be stingy. Give your employee a fair salary, and you'll see that they will thank you with their commitment. And if they aren't grateful, then as a manager, I don't need to explain to you what should be done in that case. In that case, unfortunately, you'll have to look for another employee, since this one can't be loyal in response to the kindness you've shown them. Thank you for your attention. I invite you to watch the next video and hire the best people. That's what I sincerely wish for you today.